Good morning, guys. Good morning, everyone. I have gone through your recording yesterday, your session recording yesterday completely for 1 hour during my dinner time. Okay, I got some time during when I'm having my dinner. I want to take some assessment on the previous day concepts, whatever is covered. Okay, so shall we start, Srujana? Shall we start with Srujana?
Sure.
So, what is software development lifecycle? What is SDLC, Srujana? Akila?
Yeah, software development life cycle is the process of developing a software from the initial state to the testing state. It involves a requirement to know the requirement from the client, and then analysis where and to design where developers do the code and design the software or an application, and then implementation. There's a development team will be writing an code, and after that we'll be testing. Testing will be in different ways. It can be a unit test, or it can be a functional test, or it can be a performance test, and then evaluation. After testing, that goes to evaluation.
Very good, Akila. Very good. So Akila is from civil background. So right, Akila,
Yes, yes.
right, and she is my cousin actually. Okay, I mean, of course, far relative. So, but we came in contact for these trainings only. Then only I know her. Okay, only last month, only Jan I know her. Okay, very good, Akila. Keep it up, please keep it up. Okay, I can see that you are doing a lot of homework and you are very ambitious.
Yeah,
Fine. So, and what is think time, Arvind? No, not Arvind. Arvind is already joining my other batch for JMeter. I want to ask Hari. Hari, what is think time?
Yeah, Kishore, think time means user waiting transactions.
Can you please elaborate? Can you please refine it, or can you please elaborate the definition? Everyone comfortable with English, right? You don't want Telugu, right? So I mean, everyone don't want me to explain in Telugu, right? I know, like I heard yesterday answer was asking, he was expecting to explain in English and Telugu, except answer. How about others, guys? Is everyone comfortable with English?
Yes, sir.
You should be comfortable, okay? Because they will do interview in English only, not in Telugu. Okay, please understand that. Here, guys. Yeah. Yes, I asked Harish. Yeah, think time. Can you elaborate that, Harish? Hari.
Yeah. Kishore, yeah. So user waiting transactions in the sense like, someone has booked something in Amazon or Flipkart. So they booked a product, right? So some people wait for some more time for the transaction has been declared like that.
Transaction declined.
No. Like transaction, we are going to get that gateway page, right? So I think that. So I don't remember that. Sorry.
Okay. Prachusha, what is think time? Prachusha, able to hear me, Prachusha?
Yes, sir.
If you can't answer, we'll pass it. Please pass it to the next one.
Yes, sir. I have it pass it to someone.
Okay. Supriya?
Sir, it is the waiting time that the user take between one transaction to the another transaction. The processing time, what he will be taking for moving from one transaction, or the waiting time between one transaction to the another transaction.
Perfect. Yeah. Supriya, you are working as a lecturer, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Yeah. Sureka? Sureka, what is it meant by transaction? So Supriya told about some transaction, right? So can you tell me what is meant by a transaction?
A transaction means what you have performed to login application from login to logout. There will be a sequential steps involved
Right.
in any business flow.
Okay.
So it's the step-by-step process we follow to perform an application is known as transaction.
Very good. Very good. Can everyone give thumbs up to Supriya? Sureka, sorry. Sureka, Supriya, and Akila. In Zoom meeting, we have something called reactions, right? Can you please give thumbs up or claps to them? Everyone, please. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Right. Okay. So let me start with. It's good that like even though it's demo session, like you are focusing and concentrating, and you are doing your homework. Yeah. So thanks for that, and let's get started, guys. So I want to repeat the software development life cycle again. Okay. So I strongly believe, by the way, one note before starting the session, you should not, any one of you should not record the session without the host permission. Please remember that. Recording. So you hear that recording in progress, right? That is to let you know that this session is getting recorded. Means I also should not record without your knowledge. Understood, guys? Recording, you hear this announcement. Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right. So let me give a quick recap. Okay. So of the yesterday's session. So the first important thing that as I have a lot of people from non-computers background, so I want to start. I usually start from here. That is software development lifecycle. So just like we have a human life cycle, right? So we have different phases in our human life, right? So childhood and all this, right? Yes or no? What are the different stages in human life? These are the different stages in human life cycle, isn't it? Yes. Okay. Toddler, preschooler, primary school, adolescent, teenager, adult, and old person. So in the same way, software also has some life cycle, right? So it starts with requirement analysis. Whenever some software, whenever some software project is being developed, right? So it starts with requirement analysis, and then once the requirements are collected, then comes designing phase. In designing phase, like what technology should be used, right, to develop that application, right, and in which language it should be developed. All these will be decided in the designing phase by the architects, software development architects. Okay. Once the designing of the application is completed, then comes implementation phase. So implementation phase is nothing but writing that code, developing the code for that software project. Clear, guys? That is nothing but implementation phase. So once the software is being developed, right? So actually this is typical software development life cycle, not accurate for every project, but this is a typical development life cycle. So once the coding is completed, testing of that software will be done, and then it will be, that software will go into production. That is called evaluation phase. Here, guys, we can relate it with our human life cycle. Okay. So I give these examples so that it will help you to remember forever. Right now, so are we clear on this? Are any queries here?
No, sir.
Okay. So this is my favorite quote about testing. To tell somebody that they are wrong is called criticism, and to do so officially is called testing. Right? You understood the quote? I hope everyone understood the quote. Yes.
No, sir. Please elaborate, sir.
Read it again. No. You need not allow. I need not elaborate this also. Read this one more time. Try to understand. Please don't expect spoon feeding. Okay. You are grown-ups and you are graduates. Everyone is a graduate. Please try to understand the quote. I'm pausing recording, isn't it? So to tell somebody that wrong is called criticism. Criticism means finding faults in others. Right? To do so officially is called as testing. Means As a software test engineer, it's our job to find the faults in the software. That is what we do in software testing, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Now you understood, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. Shall we move to the next one? And next thing I want to explain is, see, before going to this testing life cycle, any product before it is released to the market, it will be subjected to testing, yes or no? Even if you buy a garment, right? Even if you buy a shirt or a pant, you'll see that quality okay, some sticker on that, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right. So any product
Yes.
will be subjected to testing. So whether you buy a car or whether you buy a mobile phone, right, or whether you buy a laptop, it will be subjected to testing before it is sold to you, isn't it? So in the same way, whenever some software is developed, right, so it will be subjected to some software testing, right? And what are the different types of testing that application or that or that software project will undergo is, these are the different types of testing. Of course, there are few more which are not listed here. I have listed some important types of testing. The first one is unit testing. Okay, let me go to the slide. So, yeah. Right. The first type of testing is unit testing. Unit testing will be done by the developers who is writing that code. Right. So we call those someone who is writing code, developing that software is called as developer, isn't it? Everyone is clear on this, right? What is unit test? What is meant by developer here?
Yes, sir.
Right. So unit testing is called as white box testing. I'll explain this. Why it is called as white box testing. I'll come to that. So unit testing is called as white box testing done during the development of an application by the developers. Right. So whenever developer writes some code, right, he will first test that code whether it is working or not. That is called as unit testing. Unit testing. So why it is called as unit testing means unit. What is meant by the meaning of unit? Unit means a small piece of something, isn't it? Guys, yes or no?
Yes.
So unit testing means, so testing a small piece of software or small piece of code is called as unit testing. That is the reason it is called as unit testing, right? So whenever developer writes some small piece of code, they do some testing. Developer himself does some testing, and that is called as unit testing. And that is also called as white box testing. Very important interview question. Okay, white box testing. Why it is called as white box testing is, developer knows the internals of the application. Each and every line of code he understands, or the architecture of the application. He will have an idea of complete architecture of the application. So as developers have complete knowledge of the code and architecture of the application, right? Complete idea of architecture of the application. And each line of code, right? Each line of code, this unit testing is called as unit testing done by the developers. Sorry, it's called as white box testing. Okay, you understood why this is called as white box testing?
Simply because the developer know each and every line and every parameter of the code what he is writing. Because of that reason, we say it as white box testing.
Perfect. Yes. Right? And unit testing isolate a section of code and verify its correctness, because they test in small pieces, right? Each piece of code, each section of code. So unit tests isolate a section of code and verify its correctness. A unit may be an individual function, method, procedure, module, or object. You need not remember all these. You need not by heart all these, right? But you will know, like if you have some programming knowledge, basic programming knowledge previously, you will know what is a function, method, procedure, or module, or an object. If not, also nothing to worry. If you don't know this, also nothing to worry. You can ignore that. Okay. Those who are having some programming knowledge, so this is for them. Clear, guys? And whatever I have highlighted in each slide, that is what you need to understand. So here, like why white box testing is something which you need to understand, or unit testing or white box testing is something that you need to, everyone should understand. The next type of testing is integration testing. Okay, let me explain what this with an example. So I opened a private browser. I hope most of you know what is the difference between a normal browser and private browser, or I'll explain that. You want me to explain that? What is the difference between a private browser and normal browser? Right? We'll discuss this at some other time. Okay. So let me complete this. Okay. Or else let me take some existing window. Okay. Let's assume that Google team, there are some group of developers who are working on this Gmail application. Let's assume that there are some group of developers who are working on this Gmail application. Because one person cannot develop this complete Gmail. Agree with me?
Yes.
Right? And let's assume that, also, let's assume that some one developer is working on this part, this inbox part, and one developer is working on this Hangouts. Okay. And one developer is working on Google Meet, right? And one developer is working on the UI development, user interface development. Clear? Now, they have developed in pieces, and at the end of the day, they have to integrate it together. Yes or no? What is meant by integration? What is the general meaning of integration?
Combine
together.
Right. What is the meaning of integration? It is the, let me clear all these lines, the act of process of uniting different things, isn't it? Right? So once all these pieces of code are developed, right? So ultimately, at the end of the day, all these pieces should be combined together, right? If one developer developed this and one developer developed this Google Meet and one developer developed this Hangouts, and so let's assume that one developer developed this, this part, right? So at the end of the day, all these pieces should be combined together, right? So once all these pieces of code are combined together, integrated together, again, they have to do some testing, whether it is displaying working correctly or not, displaying correctly or not, right? And that testing, that integration is called as integration testing, as you can see here, right? So integration testing is defined as type of testing where software modules are integrated logically and tested as a group, right? Software modules means, let me explain, go back to this Gmail example. So this is developed as one module. This inbox is, let's assume that this inbox is developed as one module, and Hangouts is developed as one module, software module, and this Google Meet is developed as one module. Once all these modules are combined together, again, they will do some testing called integration testing. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
So you should be in a stage that, you see, I know like some people, like I know a few guys who joined my training in 2019, right? And he did a job for 1 year and now he started training. Okay, I can give you that reference also. So after 1 year working in software, so he started training. Okay. So basically, of course, he's a very talented guy. Like MTech, he has done his MTech and he worked as a lecturer for 10 years. From 2010 to 20, he worked as a lecturer, and 2020, he got a job into IT. And he started, I recently came to know that he started trainings. Okay. So you should be in that stage. At least if everyone is not that stage, you should be, a few of you should be in that stage. Clear, guys? So integration testing is defined as type of testing where software modules are integrated logically, right? Integrated logically and tested as a group. A typical software project consists of multiple software modules coded by different developers. That's what I explained, right? A typical software project, if you take Gmail as a software project, it consists of multiple software modules coded by different programmers. Means, is it clear? Is this line clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right? So as I mentioned, like different developers will be working on different parts of the project or different modules. Once they are combined together, integration testing will be done, right? And this environment is called as environment is nothing but the systems or computers in which that testing is done. That environment is called as SIT environment. SIT stands for, where SIT stands for system integration testing. Okay, so before performance testing, you should know what happens, what type of testing, what are the different types of testing. And before performance testing, we will start working on performance testing. What are the other types of testing that will happen? Everyone should be aware of that, right? And the purpose is to expose defects in the interaction between these software modules when they are integrated, right? As I explained just now, why this integration testing should be done? When these different modules are combined together, we have to confirm that they are working properly when they are combined together. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
If we take an example of an automobile, let's say, for example, take a car, right? So a car will have thousands of components, right? It will have steering wheel, it will have wheels, right? And it will have like engine separately done by some other manufacturer. Engine will be done by some manufacturer, right? So I think like Ford Motors or Fiat Motors does the engine manufacturing for most of the companies. If anyone is from automobile background, mechanical background, let me know. Can you confirm? Right? So different, and headlights will be manufactured by some company, right? And all these cables will be manufactured by some other company, right? So different companies will be producing different parts of a vehicle. Now they will test those individual components, yes or no? Before selling it to the to the car manufacturer, they will also do some testing on that, whether once a light is manufactured, the light manufacturer of the light will test whether it is working or not correctly. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right? And again, once all the components are combined, once the car is assembled, right? Again, manufacturer will do testing of the car. Yes or no?
Yes.
Whether everything is working fine or not. So in the same way, in software also, once all the different modules are combined together, right? We will do something called integration testing. Right? There will be a separate team for this integration testing. There will be a separate team for integration testing. Okay. In some companies, developers do that. In some companies, they will have a separate team. Right? Each of these different types of testing will be done by different guys. Okay, different teams. Once the integration testing is completed, then comes functional testing. So let me pause recording here. Okay, recording this. Please remind me if I forget to resume recording. Please remind me. Okay. We are discussing functional testing. What is meant by functional testing? So everyone should be very clear on these terms, all these concepts. Okay, that's the reason I'm taking more time on this. So let me go to the browser. In the tomorrow's session, I will explain what is the difference between a normal browser and private browser, and why I am taking private browser. So if you observe here on the top right of the screen, you are seeing incognito, right? That means this is a private window. Okay. I'll explain that tomorrow why I'm going to a private window. Right. Now coming back to this. So in functional testing, suppose a team of testers are functional testing team are testing this Gmail application. So how do they test this? What are the, they will first take what are the functional requirements or specifications, means how the application should work. They will take that, means what is the input and what should be the output. They consider when the, in the writing the test cases, they will consider this, right? What they consider, what is the input for the application, what should be the output of the application, right? So if we input the email address and click next button, that is the requirement. It should display a password page, right? That is how the application is defined, or that is how the functionality is defined. And now testing this functionality is called as functional testing, right? Suppose if I enter some wrong, suppose if I enter some junk characters like this and click next. So what should happen? What will happen now?
Not guided us to the password.
Right. It will display some error message, isn't it? One second.
Yes, sir.
Right. Suppose if I enter some invalid string, this is not an email address or this is not a phone number, isn't it? So suppose if I click on next, it should display some error message, right? Enter a valid email or phone number. So as answer or someone said like functional testing, yes, it is a single user testing, right? Where we test the functionality of the application. Clear case? This is how Gmail should work, right? So if you enter an invalid email address, it should or invalid phone number, it should it should display an error message in red color. That is how the application is designed. That is how this Gmail application was designed. Clear case? So functional testing team does this testing. They will take like what is the input. Suppose if you enter a valid email address, it should take you to the password page. If you enter an invalid email address, it should display an error message. Right? So this is what they test, whether the application is functioning as per the requirement or not. Clear? And to do this testing, do they need to know any code here? Functional testing team should not know any code, right?
Yes, they don't need any kind of coding.
Right. So that's why this is called as black box testing. Right? That is the reason it is called. See, the application is completely black box to them. They don't know anything, any internals of the application. That's why this is called as black box testing. Clear case? Right? And very important entry question. So what is the difference between white box testing and black box testing? Or what is white box testing and what is black box testing? So let me note down here. Okay. I will be sharing all these interview questions in the Word document. Okay. I'll be sharing this Word document to everyone. If you are taking some running notes, that's fine. Well and good. What is white box testing? What is white box testing? Answer.
The developer will be knowing about the coding of the program, what he has done.
Right. So that's why testing done by the developers is called as unit testing. What type of testing developer does?
Unit testing. That is called as a other name is white box testing.
Unit testing done by
Developer
is called as white box testing. Right? And testing, functional testing done by
the trainer.
What is black box testing?
Trainer. That is called as it.
Done by who does this?
Trainer. That is tester.
Yeah, so test engineer, right? By the test engineers, right? Is called as black box testing. Right. Next. So let me go back to the slide. So functions or features are tested by feeding them input and examining the output. Right? How do the functional testing team does this testing? They give some input and examine the output. What output the application is returning. And functional testing ensures that requirements are properly satisfied by the application. Is this clear? Is the statement clear now? Functional testing ensures that the requirements are properly satisfied by the application. Means what are the requirements? Software requirements. Okay. When I say requirements here, this is nothing but software requirements. Clear guys?
Pawan, a small question, like a doubt. So these requirements will be given by the client or given by the developer?
No, test engineer will be writing the test cases. Okay. For how to test that, but requirements will be given by the client.
Okay.
Okay. So test, regarding to your question, like these requirements, we get it from the client, and test engineers, functional testing team will write something called test cases. Okay. I'll show you some example test cases in the next session. Okay. So once functional testing is completed, then performance testing comes into picture, right? Because this is singular user testing. Yeah. And by the way, so functional testing is done in an environment called QA environment, where QA stands for quality analysis or quality assurance. Clear guys? QA stands for quality analysis or quality
assurance.
Right? And this is done in an environment. See, environment is nothing but a group of computers in which this testing is done. That is called as environment. That's it. There is nothing, that's it. There is nothing else when you say environment here, right? So this is called as QA environment, means the computers in which this functional testing is being done. That is called as QA environment. Okay. So next comes performance testing. Once functional testing is completed, right? So of course, like nowadays, like both this functional testing and performance testing go hand in hand. Right? But previously, once functional testing is completed, then performance testing used to come into picture. But nowadays, because of agile methodology, so we are both functional testing and performance testing will be going hand in hand. I'll explain that what is agile methodology and all. I'll explain that in the coming up sessions. So next comes performance testing. So performance testing is done in an environment called test environment or engineering environment. The environment in which performance testing is done is called as test environment or engineering environment. And this is non-functional testing. So here we are not bothered about the functionality. Functional testing team is bothered about the functionality. But performance testing is non-functional testing to determine an application speed, responsiveness, and stability of a computer. Computers or network, software program, or device under a workload. Right? So what you need to understand is, because we are interested in performance testing, you joined for performance testing training. I have highlighted this in different color. So performance testing is a non-functional testing to find out an application speed. When I say speed, how much time it is taking to load a page, right? How much responsive the application is, and how much stable the application is, the web application is, right? So to determine those, we do this non-functional testing. So this is also called software performance testing. Clear, guys? The word itself says how the application is performing, how the software is performing, right? That's why this is called as performance testing. Clear, guys? Are we clear on this testing life cycle? Of course, there are few more types of testing: security testing and penetration testing. There are a lot of other types of testings also, but we need to know about this. Performance testing engineers should know about like what are the different types of testing for the application undergoes before it comes to performance testing. Clear, case?
Yes, sir.
And now performance testing at a high level is, and how do we do this performance testing? Right, we have 10 more minutes, so let me complete this. So performance testing at a high level, right? So how do we do this non-functional testing or performance testing is, we simulate the important business flows of your application, right? Fine. So we understood what is performance testing, but how to do that performance testing? Let's say, for example, I'll take some examples here. Let me go to your document. Let's say, for example, you are testing some net banking application. Okay, like icsabank.com. Or hdfc.com or something like that, any net banking application, or some travel application like redbus.in, right? Or IRCTC. Can you list out some more travel applications, everyone?
Make my trip.
Make my trip, Abibus. These are the different travel applications that we have in India, isn't it? Etc. Right? So if you want to test any of these applications, right, first, you know what we will do? We will simulate the important, we'll first identify what are the critical business flows for that application. Means critical business flows means, okay, let me put a heading here. What is meant by critical business flows? Critical business flows means, what do we do generally with the net banking application? Guys, what I hope everyone have, most of you have.
First, we have to log in.
Transfer the money.
We will be transferring the money.
Login, and someone told login. I'll come one by one. Login and
Check the balance.
check balance. Perfect. Right. That is one thing we do. If we want to log in, we need to create an account, right?
Yeah.
Right. We need to register ourselves with the application. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
I'm muting everyone as there is some background noise. Please unmute if you want to speak. Please, please use space key on your keyboard. If you want to temporarily unmute, you can use space key on your keyboard and release it. Once you are completed, release it. Registration, right? First you have to register yourself. We need to register ourselves, right? So that is user registration, and then login and check balance. What next?
Funds transfer.
Right, fund transfer. Yes. One second. Yes. Funds transfer. What else?
Applying for loans.
Change password.
Applying loans.
Applying loan. Applying loan. Okay.
Changing of password.
Right. That we won't do. Right. That we won't do. Hey, Chaitanya, I am hearing some echo. Hey, Chaitanya, I am hearing some echo of my. Applying loan, right? And next, what else? So if you want to do fund transfer, you need to add a beneficiary, right?
Add beneficiary.
Add beneficiary. Next. Profile of someone mentioned, updating the address or phone number, right? That is profile update, isn't it? Shall we call that as profile update?
Credit card bill.
Okay, bill payment. Okay. Credit card bill payment or utility bill payment, isn't it? Credit card bill payment, or you pay some, you can pay some like telephone bill or electricity bill and also, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
You call that as utility bill payment, right? Next. Next, what else? What else do you do with the net banking application?
Mini statement.
Right, that is important thing, right? So once in a while we download an account statement, right? Account statement. It can be mini statement or 3-month statement, not anything like that, right? So account statement. Clear? Anything else? So these are the critical business flows. Means when I say critical business flows, the end users like you and me, right? We are the end users for net banking application, right? So we do different users do different type of these activities. These are the frequently done business flows of the application. Means this is how a bank gets the business. Net banking application gets business, like, right? That's why these are called as critical business flows, right? When I say critical, important business flows of an application. Clear, guys? Now let give me the critical business flows for a travel application like Redbus or IRCTC or something. Yes, please. We will do that. So 1 second. Sujana? Sujana?
Sir.
What are the critical business flows for a travel application?
User registration, obviously.
Right. So we have to register ourselves, right? Yes. Next.
Check.
Hmm.
What are the available buses?
Check ticket availability. Can I say that like that? Next. Ticket availability. Next. Did you use Redbus anytime or any of these applications anytime?
No,
or
sir.
Huh?
No, sir.
Okay. Very good. Okay, fine. At least you can assume, right? What do we
Okay.
do?
Book the ticket.
Even though you did not use it, you know, right?
Time available.
Check ticket availability and book ticket.
Book ticket.
Payment, sir.
Okay. Yeah, that falls under payment. Book ticket only, right? To book the ticket, like we have to make the payment, right? So that falls under book ticket only. What else?
Yeah.
Which place to
Passenger names, sir.
departure?
That is all part of the booking ticket, right? Entering the pass
ticket
and all. Huh?
Canceling the ticket.
Cancel. Yeah, once in a while we cancel ticket, isn't it? Yes. Next.
Tracking of bus.
Right. Tracking, right? Tracking the bus or bus. Right. What else? We may need to print ticket, right? So these are the critical. This is what we do with the travel application, right? As an end user, this is what we use this any travel application. Yes or no? See, not only bus, right? IRCTC, like I think some of these applications allows us to book flight tickets also, right? Yes or no? Book flight tickets, book hotel rooms. Yes or no? Are you aware of that or no, guys?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right? We can book flight tickets, we can book hotel rooms and all this. We can book pilgrim packages, tours, right? You can book bus also, yes or no?
Yes.
Right? So these are the critical. So as an end user, these are the users do most of these activities of this any travel application, right? Now you understood what is meant by important, simulate important business flows. What is meant by important business flows of the application?
Activities we do on a regular.
What are the major actions we'll do on that application?
Correct. Right? And we test the application under target user load. We test the, and when we do performance testing, we test the application under the target user load. Means let's understand what is meant by this target user load. Okay, with some real numbers. Okay, let me take some IRCTC example. What is meant by target user load? Let me explain this. So do you know how many tickets will be booked on IRCTC per day? Anyone?
6, I think.
6
Huh?
6
No, I'm not asking how many tickets can be booked per person. I'm asking like how many tickets will be booked per day.
5 to 8 lakhs.
1 lakh.
20 lakh tickets will be booked per day. Approximately, these are 2021 numbers in 2021. Okay.
20 lakh tickets.
20 lakh tickets will be booked per day on IRCTC application. Right? And how many users, you know, like how many users, see, one user can book 1 ticket to 6 tickets. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So, and also IRCTC, I mean, we can book a train ticket through reservation counter or through a website. Yes or no? There are two ways that the IRCTC application will be used. One is IRCTC website, which is irctc.co.in, or and reservation counters, railway reservation counters. Yes or no? And you know how many users will book these 20 lakh tickets per day? So there will be around 5 to 6 lakh users who will be using per day. 5 to 6 lakh users will be booking, will be using this IRCTC application. And out of these 20 lakhs, 17 to 18 lakhs tickets will be booked online. Okay. 17 to 18. See, these numbers are announced by IRCTC. Okay. These are not assumptions. These are the numbers announced by IRCTC itself when they came for public issue in 2020. Right. And around 2 to 3 lakh tickets will be booked in reservation counters. And out of these 20 lakh tickets. Now, how many users will be using this IRCTC application is like you and me is 5 to 6 lakh users will be using IRCTC. Understood? Using irctc.co.in website. Clear, guys? Why I'm explaining this is the target user load of IRCTC. Means IRCTC application should support these many number of users. Clear, guys? This is meant by this is the target user load. Okay. Or 5 to 6 lakh users may be doing throughout the day. Let's assume that 1 to 2 lakh users will be using at any point of time. Let's assume that 1 lakh users will be using IRCTC application anytime. Okay. So this is the target user load actually. This is the target user load. Means IRCTC application should support 1 to 2 lakh. Why I'm saying 2 lakhs is during Tatkal time, most of the users log in at once throughout the country, right? Yes or no? At that time, they will have more number of users. Yes or no? Yes. Guys, are you with me?
Yes.
Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes it may have more number of users during Tatkal time. Lakhs of users try to book the ticket at same point of time, right? Then their application should support at least 2 lakh users, right? Even though these 5 to 6 lakh users may be using from morning to night, but at any point of time, if you assume that 1 lakh users will be there on IRCTC, then 1 lakh is the target user load. If there will be 2 lakh users at any point of time during Tatkal time or some other time, that is the target user load for IRCTC. Clear, guys? So we test the application. If you are testing IRCTC, we have to test with that 1 lakh users. Client will tell that this is my target user load. This is the user load that my application should support. right? That requirements will be given by the client. So you need not, figure out like how many users will be using. Clear, guys? So we test in performance testing, we test the application under target user load, validate the app server's readiness ahead of peak events like Big Billion Sale or Black Friday, right? So we have some e-commerce application like Flipkart and Amazon where we have this Big Billion Sale or Black Friday sale, right? At that time, there will be a lot of users, lakhs of users, right?
Yes, sir.
Everyone will be before their system and they will be trying to purchase something when there is some Big Billion Sale or Black Friday sale. Yes or no? You might have done that, right?
Yes, sir. Offer time.
So when we have such peak events, important events like this, before that event, they, Flipkart or Amazon or that any corresponding application, they have to test whether their servers are ready for that peak events or not, whether their application is ready for that to bear that load or not, right? To do that, we do performance testing, right? And test the application stability before and after version release. Means whenever there is some new code deployed, we call that as a new version, right? So whenever there is some new code being deployed, right? So before releasing that code to production and after releasing also, we may need to test the application stability. We may need to test the application stability, right? So this is at a high level about performance testing at a high level. Okay, I will pass here for today. We're almost 10 o'clock. We crossed 10 o'clock. We crossed 1 hour. I'm pausing the recording. And for recording purpose, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. So we started a new batch this February for LoadRunner and JMeter parallelly. So contact the number provided here. Like if you want to join live training. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.